All right, guys, oh, hello. Welcome, Roadhouse. Thanks for joining us tonight. This is the Den Coaches Show with Coach Seth Parr. We're going to talk all things Coyote football. We're super excited to be in the Roadhouse, right? Texas Roadhouse, getting all those great, hot, delicious rolls right out of the oven. Let's hear it for them rolls, baby. That's some good stuff. Look, we've our section is full tonight, which means we probably are playing a known team, somebody we've known for a while. Looking glad everybody's out tonight. Give yourselves a hand for making it out to Roadhouse. I'm glad you all are here.
Who in the world could we be playing on Friday night?
Listen, I don't know, but I bet we're going to get into it. But I want to make sure right off the top we recognize Adon Complete Air and Heating for their sponsorship of this show. It helps us get this done every single week. Adon, we are very grateful for all your support. And here we are. We're ready to start it off. We're ready to get this thing kicked off with Coach Parr. Let's give Coach a big round of applause as we get started. All right, Coach. Well, we talked a little bit about this in post-game interviews after the Lovejoy game, which, by the way, we won. Was anybody there for that game? How good does that feel when our Coyotes get that big W? Yeah. I think maybe the players were as excited about that one too. But we want to give you a chance to talk about this just a little bit. We've had a last-minute switch last week. And so why don't you take time to talk about maybe some of the people that helped with the scramble, right, to make this last-minute switch, making a home game possible when we thought we were going to be away at Lovejoy?
First of all, I want to let everybody know if you need a roofer, I've had plenty of people call me, and I can give you some phone numbers. So started out with that. So I got like a lot of people showing up at my house and asking and all that kind of stuff. So, really, when we started, the whole operation of us traveling is, led by Brian and Scott Roop, and they come and our training staff and Jason Russell, our strength coach, they all load the trailers. And they leave probably around 45 minutes. Sean and them leave around 45 minutes before we do. And then when they get there, they undo they laid out the bags for everybody, get all the food ready. So Jason, our strength coach, calls Coach Rigg and says, hey, listen, we're in the locker room. We got everything out, but, it's pitch black here, and it's really hot. And I don't know if y'all should come because there's no electricity. So we had just loaded the bus, and we were heading to Lovejoy. And we already went through our pregame stuff, and now we're heading to the second part of it, the second phase. And we got around. Coach tells me I don't really say anything. I'm thinking about it, but I don't go ahead and make a decision. And then Todd Dodge calls me and says, we're out of electricity, I would not come. So we are about on the famous Bucky exit. So it's just like my car always veers off to that little place, and it's the beef jerky mall of the world. And we pulled off, came back around, and then we just had me and Coach Severe, Coach Rigg, Coach Rod. Coach Rod will always be in a panic. I mean, it's not going to be – he's thinking, where is he going to kick, or where's the special teams, what's going to happen. So we just let him wander around. He's like a squirrel. He's going to go up and down and then worry about everything. And then Coach Severe's more of, let's get a pen, the pad, and let's think. He's more, that's what I do. And then Coach Wilson is he's worrying about, like, larger things, like where the meal's going to be and how we're going to do it. So there's a collection of people. So when we got there, we had to really stop and think. So Coach went to Coach Rod, just like I thought. As soon as we got off, straight to the turf room, looking for footballs. And he's just, like, putting them in spots so we can get Dez, like, 400 more kicks before he does it, before we start the game. Then he's literally
collecting footballs like they're acorns, is what you're saying.
Yeah, he's going. I knew we weren't going to see him as soon as, he's like a lab with a tennis ball. He's going to have a good time, and you're never going to see him, never going to know where he's at. So we sat there and we had to readjust, like, okay, so instead of all the stuff that we were going to do there, let's do it right now, not miss a beat. But one thing that was wrong is all of our equipment is with the Roops and Brian and everything else. Next thing I did is I called in when I got a call and said, listen, the electricity's out. You need to get, she was eating, so she was like, okay, all right, appreciate the phone call. Shopping. Eating is code word for shopping. Now it's shopping since we won. If we wouldn't have won, it'd have been eating. All right, so then she's doing
do you need
that.
To come back up, Ann?
She's not. No, she is. She is doing that, and then Mr. Tucker calls me and says, what happens would y'all switch the game here? And I didn't think much of that. I said, yeah, we'll play it here. But, I didn't think anything of it. So we get all our schedules. I plug in my phone. It's going out around 5%. And then we get a phone call. I think Coach Rigg, one of my coaches that coached at Anna, is now at Lovejoy. And he coached with me at Coronado, and he got a hold of him and said, hey, Coach Dodge is trying to get a hold of y'all. And then so we're running plays. Peyton Miller was really happy. Marcos was really happy to rep those plays another hour, and they didn't have their stuff. It's kind of funny, and he's sweating a little bit. So we're getting going, lathered up. And I get the phone call, and they're like, hey, if we start at 7:30 and if we can wear our uniforms, our home uniforms, do you mind if we play there? I said, absolutely not. We'll do it. So then the next phone call was Dan and Kyle, and they did a great job, and Mr. Tucker and Dr. Duncan and everybody, getting everybody set up I never had to worry about the stadium. They got the stadium up. They got all the workers there. They got everything, and we had a plan, and it got pulled off real quick. So even got the flags there and everything else. So it was good, and everybody worked out. Kenneth Lindsay, I don't know if everybody knows Kenneth Lindsay in this place, but Kenneth Lindsay can fix anything in Anna. All right, so
okay.
When he retires, you might as well just close the school down because I don't know. He's a one-man band, and he can fix anything. So he's going, and just everybody's working really hard. And we got the game going, and it's pretty amazing little turnaround. I think we went around 2.5 hours, and we flipped the whole game, got the officials, everything ready to roll.
Well, Coach, we've been doing this show for a while now, and I'm going to say we've got at least 20 episodes of this show on the internet somewhere. And in all those episodes, this is the most detailed account of anything you do with football we have ever gotten.
No. Let me tell you, that operation meeting is pretty tough. So.
I think the next logical follow-up question after another chaotic game is, how's your lab doing?
Breeze is doing good. Breeze, he had some outdoor time today. We thought it was going to rain 2.5 inches. That's what we got yesterday. It's going to be Coach Rigg can always tell me the weather, and he said we're going to have 2.5 inches in Anna, and so I thought we are going to have a monsoon. So I was like, man, I don't know when this dog is going to go outside. Get mud everywhere. I wanted to hear about it, and but he didn't. It did not rain, and Breeze lived, and he got to go out.
There you go.
We have got to be.
I asked him the question about the dog.
You got to pay attention.
We got to be
That's
careful.
the problem.
People in trouble.
She doesn't pay attention sometimes when at the
All right,
house.
Hey, so question number 2, I'm going to help you skirt that one real quick.
Yeah, all right.
So we talked a lot about the pregame, and then we get to halftime of our game against Lovejoy, right? And we go into halftime, we're up by 3. But I think a lot of us felt like we probably should have been up by more. And that halftime spread was probably some of our own doing, some of our own mistakes, penalties, things like that, right? So what was the message to the team that allowed the third quarter onslaught to really occur?
Well, I mean, you got to look at field position of the game. So I thought the game we were in hand. Sometimes games can look close and they're not really close. The problem is one little thing can happen and it can be, it can be a turn of momentum when it's that. But I really thought we dominated the game from every standpoint. As I thought the defense made plays and they were physical. We got some personal fouls that maybe gave them some field position, but then they were on the 50 and it was 4th down and they did was a pooch kick, so they nailed it to the 1 yard line.
Mm-hmm.
We got to the 1 yard line. We got it out of the end zone. I think we drove the field and changed the field position, but that takes time. So we had around 70, 80-yard drive. I don't know if it ended in a field goal or a touchdown or a fumble. It might have ended in a fumble. So when we ran a touchdown, that could have been 17-0, but then we came back and hit a pass, and then we gave bad field position because we fumbled. And then we fumbled. Zai didn't have good ball protection on one of them. We've been trying to work on that for 3 years. And so with that, we just went and we were dominating the game, but we weren't dominating the score. And then we got it right before halftime. I've been working on this play called Ozone, and I was really excited. We were all about situations.
Mm-hmm.
And this situation is going to probably happen like 1 or 2 times a year. And we got in a play called Ozone, and Zai's supposed to hit Y curl, and the guy's supposed to fall down exactly. This is the last play. We had 7 seconds, and it has to be ran with 7 seconds. Guess what? We had 6 seconds. I said, we can do it. I said, Ozone. They put all their guys back.
Yep.
And all we were trying to do is set up for a field goal for Dez, so we can have around 40 or 50-yard field goal. We're going to try to give him a school record, try to get him out there, see what we can do. And Coach Rod was excited because he knew what was coming on. And
he had plenty of footballs for Des to choose from for that kick, right?
He had all the footballs in the state of Texas, is what I heard.
That's right. So then we missed the wide open pass. With that, we were 70% completion rate. Could have been 72 or 73 with the easiest pass of the night, which nobody was guarding us, and then we somehow messed that up. So then it leads to we're going to throw a hitch. I knew exactly what they were about to do, and I said, because we do have a play that we do this. I can't say it's on the air. But I said, all right, I want to throw this, and I know this guy's going to tell him, roll around, pitch it to me, and this is going to happen. Well, he did. We threw it to Michael. Michael was late on the pitch, and I had to get on to Michael. We had a problem with Michael on this one. I said, listen, we can't have you catching like with one arm. So he caught with one arm. If he would have pitched it to Zai, we might have scored on the wraparound.
Yeah.
But we do work that play. I didn't call that. But just so happened they like to hit him late, and they came in and hit him late, which I didn't think you can end a half on a penalty. But
what was the explanation they gave you? Did they say because
it was a dead ball foul, half was
already
over,
over?
so
Okay.
it has to happen. But at the end of the game, that doesn't happen. So I don't know why.
Listen,
you
I
do it
don't
at the
officiate
fourth
football.
quarter.
I was perplexed.
I need to look at that, but I took their word for it. Coach Severe had some nice things, some pleasantries to say to the officials.
He was
when we
inviting
were
them to
leaving.
church.
I had to calm him down. I had to calm, I'm just like a
Just
peace magnet.
Nine
right here.
and 10:45
Yes.
at Pin Oaks, right? That's
Yeah,
all you guys were
right.
telling
I
us.
said, listen, I'm trying to gain peace here, Coach. Severe, you can't. We're leaving the field, and I'm trying to say, hey guys, y'all are doing a really good job, and you're terrible. And I'm like, Coach.
Somebody want to nominate Coach Parr for the Nobel Peace Prize?
That's right.
We want to get on that.
Doing my very best to get the things under control.
Well, and then from my standpoint, it almost looked like Coach Cantrell is the one who got the brunt of it because then he came behind.
Well, Cantrell can't say anything. When you're not over 26, you're not allowed to talk. All right, so he tried to get himself in there, and we had to have a moment with him. But once we got Coach calmed down and everything, we went in there in the locker room and got a plan put together.
Oh, well, Coach, let's shift gears. Melissa comes to town this week. What are some things our team's kind of focused on as we go into this week, especially kind of does last year hang at all with the team?
No, I mean last year with Lovejoy really didn't hang. That last year's team was last year's team. This is a totally different group of guys, and You know, we just know that what we need to work on and what we had to get better. We got a lot of improvement to do. We got a lot of things we got to get better. It doesn't matter what the opponent is. We got to improve on that. And but, you know, we're not going to lie to you. We know who we're playing. We know it's an exciting game. We're going to have a lot of people there. You know, I heard some people, and I'm glad that my purple hair ladies are back in the house. Yes. All right, so, you know, yeah, and the Lovejoy, I was watching their broadcast, and it talked about how loud the stadium was, and they had a fan mic, and I really appreciate that. On defense, it does get loud. Like Jaden Parker told me, he's like, I can't hear anything in that stadium.
Good.
Yeah, so
Good.
It was a good experience. Now we got to get it standing up. On third down, I'm challenging all the people to stand up, all right? So it's not just blowing the horn. We got to stand up and be loud and let everything be known. That's right. That's right. We'll get a graphic that says stand up, all right? So get loud, all right? But that's kind of where we're at, and so we need to let Melissa know that it's a home field advantage, and we're glad that we're back in Anna. I mean, my history of this place is that I think Melissa just used to be the middle school, right? And once the middle school was over, they had their choice to go McKinney and Anna. Is that right? And so that's
true.
what I heard. The story was that McKinney, and then now Melissa's made their own.
Yep.
You know, and they blossomed, and you know, and now here we are like a volcano. All right, so they're a little flower and we're a volcano. There you go. They blossomed. We're about to erupt.
I'm going to be honest, I don't even know where we are in our show sheet anymore,
Yeah.
but we're just here with Coach Parr, and this is what's happening.
Yeah.
No, listen, I think one of the aspects that is so vital to us is as you look at the away stadium, so many of them are amending their sound rules on their websites to include vuvuzelas for the week that we come. The only week that they don't allow vuvuzelas is the week that Anna comes to town, and so I think that speaks to the volume of how Anna travels and kind of what they don't want to allow into their stadium. And so talk about the difference that makes for your guys.
That's a big home field advantage because the communication on the offensive side that you have to have. If you can't hear and you can't echo calls or stuff like that, it's hard to communicate. I wouldn't if people were bringing them, I wouldn't let them in either. So, you know, probably pretty smart on their part.
Oh, fair enough, Coach. Hey, look, we as we wrap up this segment every week, we do the same thing. Give you an opportunity for some final thoughts before we wrap your segment.
Well, you know, I think one, we talked about starting fast in these first 4 games were something that we were wanting to do. So we talked about X15. We're talking about the fastest plane ever built. I think was in like 1959. Somewhere like that, and Coach Rod never even thought the world began before 1959. You know, he thought everything in athletics started in year 2000. All right, so we're talking about being the fastest plane and being starting fast, ascending, and now we're to the end of it, and we have a chance to complete that goal. I'm proud of where we're at, but we're always becoming. We're never arrived. So, you know, when you're becoming, you're always going to have to learn how to get better and do things, and everything's going to change. You never arrived. If you think you've ever arrived, then you're done. You're done growing. So always becoming.
Well, there you go. Hey, just a reminder as we get ready to say goodbye to Coach Parr, 5:30 tailgate, 6:30 Coyote Walk, 7:30 kickoff. Be loud, be proud, be respectful, but do what we need to do to have a home field advantage.
Yeah,
stay off the rails.
I'll
say it. Stay off the rails.
Stay off the rails.
Stay off the. I'll say it so you don't have to.
Don't be underneath the press box. No running underneath the press box. No games. All right. So really getting a lot of emails over that. So let's cut those down. All right. So I don't have to read them.
All right, well, there you go. This has been Coach Parr with our first segment. We're going to take a quick break to hear from Adon Heating and Cooling, and then we'll be back with Coach Severe.
Oh,
All right. Well, we are back for segment number 2 with our defensive coordinator, Coach Severe. Even when you throw a shutout in the second half against Lovejoy, you just don't get the love, man. Yeah. We're back for our second segment with Coach Severe. There we go. Well, listen, so 14 points and a shutout during the second half after we gave up an average of 59 points to Lovejoy in our 2 games last year. I know that pains you to say, but I say that because it shows the improvement of our squad, right? Phil and I may have handed back out the Death Squad moniker on our stat show this week. So what do you feel like allowed you guys to have that kind of performance against Lovejoy? And then the second part of that is, who were some of the standout players in your mind from that game?
Well, anytime you play well, it's a lot of guys. So it's hard to point out one guy. I mean, I thought we had good performances all up and down the roster, from our D-line to our linebackers, DBs. Anytime you play that well, it's usually a complete game from those guys. And I thought we played well as a team. We talked about doing our job and doing sometimes the dirty work and doing stuff that maybe doesn't get you the accolades, but makes the play. You don't always make the tackle, but you make the play. And I thought our D-line especially did that. They sacrificed a lot. They squeezed down blocks. They did a really good job playing the run game, and then it opened up the ability for us to attack the passer, and that's when the game gets fun, when our guys can kind of turn them loose and let them go. And I thought they did a good job of doing that.
Well, I think one of those guys that kind of comes to mind in that vein is a guy like JoJo, right? He came into the game as one of our leading tacklers and walked out with only four tackles, which seems like a down game for a JoJo level player, right? But the reality was that he was one of those guys that was taking on the blocks in the screen game. He was making the runners bounce outside or slow down or have to take a gap they didn't want to take. And so I think those key performances are definitely important. What was the mindset going into that game? Was the defense excited? Were they hungry to get after it against the team like Lovejoy, or kind of where were they at?
I think our guys are just excited to play football. We put in a lot of time. We work really hard at Anna, and so when you get a chance, an opportunity to play a football game, that's what they all want to do, And so they're excited to play, whether it's Lovejoy, whether it's Melissa, whether it's a team from Arizona, no matter who it is. We're excited because we enjoy football. We love football, and it's what we prepare for. I do know Coach Parr kind of poked Austin Crowley quite a bit this week, and I saw a lot of emotion out of Austin Crowley, and that's not a very emotional person. So kind of interesting to see him respond that way. He made a big tackle early in the game and showed some more emotion than he usually does. So I think our guys were excited. I think they were prepared. They were tired of hearing about last year in Lovejoy and kind of put it behind us and put a good performance on the field.
So, listen, we talked this week about one of the things we noticed, and I'm sure you guys noticed this too. I think we'll play the rest of the season and never see as many of our guys' helmets get ripped off their head. Like, I'm amazed, and it always seems to be this week where there's more helmets on the turf than any other week. Anything to say regarding that?
No comment. I don't know. We're on to Melissa.
I just thought I'd try.
Walking him into a landmine right there.
I mean, look.
I'm sure Coach Parr will have something to tell you, but we're on to Melissa.
We'll bring him back up. We'll bring him back up for another segment. All right, so, no, for real, a good question here. We have another potentially emotionally charged this week against Melissa when it comes to our game. How do you help this defensive squad to kind of keep their heads in the right space while also playing with the physicality and the violence that we talk about that it takes to be really successful on the defensive side of the ball?
We've spoke a lot this week about having emotional and mental maturity. Just being mature in the way we do things. We had a really good performance, and oftentimes human nature allows you to think you've arrived or think that you're better than you are because you've had a good game. So we talked a lot about just getting better, being the best we can be each day, recovering the best, going to treatment, practicing hard, we're breaking down film, doing it all right, and that will hopefully put us in a position to win. And we talked about, the big thing we talked about today is the emotional maturity of playing with passion and not emotion. because we're passionate about this game. We love football. We love playing, and playing with passion. And passion is proactive, and passion is driven and focused towards the goal, and the goal is to win. And emotion is reactionary. It's reacting to a bad play, a good play, something that happens in a game where someone says something to me and I react. So we don't want to be reactionary. We don't want to play with emotion, but we want to play with passion.
Yep.
That's a sermon that'll preach right there, Coach Severe.
Emotions lie to us.
Yeah.
They lie to us, and they get us to do things that are outside of our norm. And what a great message for our guys. I think that'll serve them. And that's one of the things I love about what you guys do for these young men is you are helping them and preparing them, even though they may not know it, for life as a man beyond football. And that's a lesson they're guys that are 50, 60 years old still haven't grasped. Yeah. So the fact you guys are teaching that is such an important part of their development as young men. And I'm super proud of this coaching staff for the work that you guys do in that regard.
Yeah, it's fun doing it.
There you go. Well, hey, Coach Severe, it's always a pleasure to get to talk to you for just a little bit. We'll let you get back to your daughter over there and your meal. And thanks for joining us. We're going to take another quick break to hear from Pin Oaks Christian Fellowship, and then we'll be joined by Coach Rigg.
All right, guys, we are back. We are joined right now by our offensive coordinator, Coach Wilson Rigg. Let's give it up for Coach Rigg. 45 points in the victory. A second half was absolutely amazing. I think people on the internet used onslaught, an offensive onslaught in the third quarter. Lots of good stuff. We're going to get to that in just a second. I do want to give a shout out to Texas Roadhouse right here. One more time, let's thank our servers, people taking care of us tonight.
Rocking it.
Yeah, that's right, they are. And as I say every week, while they love the applause, they can't live on your applause. Your claps are great, but your tips are better. Let's make sure to take very good care. And one of them just said, yes, they can. I'm still going to challenge you. Make sure to take care of our servers. They work really hard when we're here. Roadhouse is amazing in taking care of us week in and week out. It's great to have a partner like that on our side. So a huge shout out to them. And so here we are, Coach, an offensive explosion. Yep. That's what we put in our notes.
That's the language that we wrote down. It sure is.
Hey, any positive adjective at this point we'll work with. It's all good.
Well, it seems like that potent offense that we've come to expect when we talk about Coyote football has returned this past week. There were a lot of people the week before. They're saying, we're not sure what's going on with the Coyotes. Yep. But I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that we had some guys come back from injury, and I think that probably helped. But I think the most notable things for fans was things like Ace Traylor playing just about every position on the field.
Yep,
what was the thought process between some of the Tetris maybe that you guys played around with in formations and getting this guy, among others, touches in different places?
So we've got some really talented guys, and it's one of those things where when we're sort of looking at things on Saturday and Sunday, you're just trying to get the best guys on the field in the best positions for them to make plays. Sometimes that's going to be a little more unorthodox than what some people may think. Some people think that if it's a guy's a wide receiver, a guy's a running back, a quarterback, a fullback, that's what they are, and they don't they specialize in that, and they don't have the skills to do something else. Well, if you see a guy that has skills that are able to get the ball in space in different ways, like a guy like Ace Traylor is, it's one of those things that's very beneficial for us to get the ball to him as much as possible. And then also, I did a very good job of keeping it close to the vest last week. Some others were a little questionable about, keeping things incognito, but did have some guys come back that, made a big difference. That, anytime you infuse some of the talent, the skill that we've got with the guys we already had on the field, it really, just makes everyone look a lot smarter in the game planning meeting, because it's a lot easier to, execute, do those things when those guys are on the football field. So, that was a breath of fresh air. It makes, one week you can go from being a really dumb person to a really smart person, and a couple guys get healthy, and that's, the only difference.
All right. Well, hey, let me ask you. So, cat's out of the bag, right? There's film on these guys now, so I can say their name on the show. I was not the one that he's talking about. I kept my lips sealed tight. But one of those guys was Michael Kennedy. Another one was Keyshawn Miles coming in and getting his first action for us in a Coyote uniform. What was it like having those two on the field? They each only had one catch apiece, but there's a lot that happens at the wide receiver position beyond just getting a catch that impacts the game. So talk about having those two guys back.
Yeah, so just Michael Kennedy is a very known commodity, very explosive, very big playmaker, has done a lot as a Coyote already. So when he comes back on the field, it draws a lot of eyes, gets a lot of attention from the defense. And so it's just one more thing that, especially when they don't know about it on the fly, that they then have to react and have to kind of find a way to cover and make sure he's not making a big difference in the game. And then Keyshawn, coming in, catching a fast screen and taking it to the house. Anytime a kid can just come in, make that instant of an explosion, that much of a difference in just one play, pretty special, pretty fun to watch. And you could just see, on the touchdown, we were just laughing up in the press box.
I heard it.
Pure enjoyment. They're celebrating, they're doing whatever, but it was not choreographed. It was not this, we went on YouTube and found the coolest celebration. It was just pure joy. Keyshawn was extremely happy, obviously, and then all the guys around were just so excited to see that happen, excited to have that happen. And so that was pretty special, pretty cool thing, because it's just something that had never happened before, and to see our guys be so excited for somebody else is a pretty big deal.
Well, I'm going to ask you another question off script, and then Phil, I'll let you get us back on script. How about that? Let me ask, the flag on the Cormon celebration on the first touchdown, it is written as a penalty in high school football. I get it. What's your opinion on that? Should that be a penalty or not?
So any of the guys on the headset know that I'm a very big stickler for not getting 15-yard penalties on celebrations. Usually have some colorful language to say when we do. Not very happy about it. But in the situation, emotion sometimes takes over, and sometimes when you're beating a team a little more than probably what you should be, a celebration penalty is not the worst thing in the world. But, it's one of those things where I think probably we were on the fringe of 15, but probably could have, we could have moved along from it without throwing it. But sometimes it happens. So
the thing that gets me is that 15 is for spinning the football.
Yes.
To me, that's just silly.
Yeah.
To me, it's silly that he didn't spin it in somebody's feet and an opponent's feet.
For sure. It wasn't taunting.
And this isn't bashing the referee crew. That's just how the rule is written.
Yes.
I personally think it's a silly rule and it needs to be rewritten.
I think choreographed celebrations should be reined in, but I think if it's pure enjoyment, it's pure just a kid having a lot of excitement, I don't think we need to completely regulate kids' emotion. Let them be kids. Let them have fun.
Yeah.
Let them enjoy doing something. We don't need to just come back around to the fun police. We don't need to be fun police. Have kids have enjoyment. Now, when it's, we're doing choreographed backflips and, dances with each other.
You don't think they should get in the canoe and take the pylons
yeah,
and go rowing down the end zone?
I think we're good there. But when it's purely a spear of the moment, we just did something really, really cool, and I'm enjoying it. I think, there's room in football.
So
for that.
you were not a fan of my Vikings defensive celebrations all
Yeah,
last year where they were all choreographed
some of the
dances?
NFL ones can get a little over the top. Yeah.
Okay, I had to get Coach Rick's thoughts on that.
It didn't. That a couple of the sellies from this last game didn't go unnoticed.
Yep.
I know a very prominent NFL player retweeted one of the celebrations. I'm sure that made its way around the program.
Yep.
Des Bryant, basically
yeah.
highlighting one of the
Yep.
celebrations.
Yep.
So that kind of adds a little fuel to the fire that you guys got to fight, right?
Oh, there's no doubt. It's a constant uphill battle regulating 16, 17, and 18-year-olds.
For sure. Well, Coach Rigg, as always, very informative, very helpful. We appreciate you being here. We got one more question.
We don't have to ask it.
No. As we wrap it up, looking here and kind of just. I don't know. I don't know how do I get into this one.
We have a lot of really talented skill position players, right?
Yeah.
From anywhere from Pharrell and Jaden coming in as running backs to Ace to all our receivers.
Yep.
A lot of talented skill position players. How do you keep those groups focused and making sure it doesn't become the disease of me?
Yeah. And so one thing with our team, I think we have a really good group of guys first and foremost.
Yeah.
That's 90% of the battle. Our guys realize there's one ball to go around, and they realize that not every week am I going to just get every opportunity that I could possibly want. What our guys do realize is that there is one ball to go around. So when I get the opportunity to make a play, I've got to do it. And there's a lot of pressure to do so. And I think that isn't a negative. I think it brings out the best in our guys. I think it's one of those things where they understand that I may get a lot of opportunities this game, or I may get very few. But if I get very few, if I make the most of that opportunity, I'm going to get more and more down the road. And so and working with packages, working with having multiple different guys in different positions. First off, stresses the defense. Secondly, when you have that many talented guys, it's one of those things that it's good to have that issue. It's a good problem to have. And so I think our guys do a really good job of it. I think it's one of those things where we just, do our best to make sure we're tracking who's touching the ball, who's getting things, because we also know that there's a lot of guys and that a lot of those guys need opportunities to make plays. For instance, this week, Michael had one catch. Michael's had weeks where he's had 0 or 1 catch, and then he's had weeks where he's had 6, 7, 8, 9 catches for 100-some receiving yards, multiple touchdowns. So it's just knowing that it's going to eventually happen, and it's going to, it'll come naturally. It's not going to be a forced thing, because as soon as you start forcing it, you start thinking, I need the ball more, I need this. You start putting unnecessary pressure on yourself. You start putting yourself in a position where you're just not going to be successful because you're going to have so much pressure on yourself. Just go out there, understand that organically, that's what I was looking for.
There you go.
Organically, that ball's going to come to me, and when it does, make the most of that opportunity.
I love it.
Well, there you go. Ladies and gentlemen, Coach Wilson Rigg. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to hear a little bit from Adon, and then we'll be right back.
That's my fault right there. Wide receiver coach, Coach Rodriguez. Oh, one of our batteries died.
lights.
It's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good. Listen, before I go, just like I'm gonna go. You're gonna do it, Phil. I want to give you a chance to respond. There have been a lot of things thrown your way. You were running around collecting footballs like a squirrel. You don't know any sports history before the year 2000. Yeah. At one point in the season, you don't know anything before LeBron James came into the NBA.
Yeah.
You let state secrets slip. Kind of talk about and respond to some of these things.
I mean, hey, I thought I was just doing my job, and I'm told we hey, we're gonna do this and that. So hey, I'm getting it prepared, and I'm getting it prepared the best I can. Didn't know that I look like a squirrel, trying to store some acorns and that. And one thing I want to tell the people that are older is I have respect for older people. I don't believe that life started at the year 2000. I actually have a lot of respect for older people. I value their knowledge. I value their experience. I think I get along with older people more than I do with people my age because I like what they got to say. So that's just I want you guys to know that, and it's all good. So.
There you go. As I see your steak coming to the table, that looks really good, Coach Rod. I know you're already ready to go eat it.
No,
hey, let me ask you. So, obviously, we talked to Coach Rigg about it, but we got Keyshawn into the game for the first time. We got Michael Kennedy back. What does that do for you as that unit's coach? And then also talk a little bit about Keyshawn's development and practice as he's learning really the game of football at a high level for probably the first time in his life.
Oh man, it's starting out with Keyshawn, man, scoring that touchdown and just being able to see that come to fruition. I mean, it's been rapid fire with him. Everything that's been thrown at him, I mean, he's coming for the first time playing football, learning football, playing receiver, learning the position, learning the situations that come with the game, learning the game itself. And for him to be able to grasp all that and be able to execute and do what he's able to do at a high level is awesome. And when you have a kid that's able to do that and be able to have a huge contribution to our team in that way, it's good, and it makes my job really easy. So the Michael Kennedy, getting him back was big, and we talked about earlier on, the games vary, right, as far as you getting the ball. There might be 1 week where hey, you get 0 catches, but the following week you have a higher volume of receptions, yards, and for him this week, a lot of it more was, hey, getting other receivers open, right? And that's the big thing with our offense. It's not always about you getting open; it's about getting your teammates open, and he was able to do that very well this week, and that's when our offense is at its best. So when we're able to distribute the ball to everybody across the board, and if one game has a big game because of what the defense is giving us, that's great. But we want to be equal in our ball distribution, and we want to make everybody make sure everybody gets a touch, and that's when our offense is at our best, and that really hurts a defense out because they're not able just to pinpoint or put their focus on one particular player. Right? They have to worry about everybody across the board, and it just makes a defensive coordinator's night a nightmare.
Well, look, in terms of a game, there's explosive potential everywhere on the field at any given time.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things most teams try to mitigate. We don't want big explosive plays. If we can limit the big explosive plays, we give ourselves the best chance to win a game. Probably one of the most deflating places that happens is on special teams.
Right.
When a team either breaks something big against us or whatever. But special teams this last week was on point, Coach.
Yes,
it was on point. Downing Lovejoy at the 9-yard line on a kickoff.
Yes, sir.
I think there was a group of guys that they executed so well together. I think Jaden made the stop. Was it Jaden? No,
Jaden.
Yeah, Jaden.
So Jaden and Zay and Ace.
Zay and Ace were kind of, I mean, it was, what a great play. Talk a little bit about executing that, the middle dribble, having almost a 50-yard punt after rollout, things like that on the special teams. What does that mean to our team, and how does that change the scope of the game?
Oh, it plays a tremendous part in just being able to just put our team in a position to win the game. And coming into this game, I was challenging our guys. I was challenging all our units that, hey, we got to be able to play clean in every part of special teams. The first 2 weeks, we didn't do that. We had a return touchdown on kickoff, right? We had issues in other areas as well where, weren't kicking the ball cleanly, and there's a lot of things we were struggling with. And during our bye week and last week, that was the thing that I was emphasizing with our guys, was just like, hey, for us to be able to have a high chance to win this game, we got to be able to play clean in every unit. And we were able to do that. Our kickoff coverage was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all talk about that play where, hey, we panned Lovejoy inside the 9-yard line. Dez had a great kick. He had a great directional kick. Our coverage was awesome. Our Xavier Flanagan disrupts the returner. Ace Trailer also had a role in that. And then Jaden Parker comes and cleans it up. So we had every extra point that was made, every field goal that was made. We fielded every ball on kickoff return. We had a blocked punt. So just every unit was successful for the most part. There's still things that we got to clean up, but for the most part, they did a good job of playing clean.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was the most complete performance from our special teams this season, and I can't wait to see how that continues, because I know that's now the standard, right? We've kind of echoed that a lot this season, that the standard is the best.
Yes.
Right? There's no question about that. I think we have a special segment that we want to do. Do you want me to just step off and let this individual come up here?
Let's
Keep
take
Coach Rod on here, or do you want to take a quick break?
No, I don't want to do that to Rod.
Okay.
We love
I've
Coach
already
Rod.
taken a lot of heat today.
No,
bro.
he's
gonna go-
taking
he's
a lot
gonna-
of
he's
heat,
gonna-
especially in this show, man. Like,
Hey,
you've been through it.
Y'all give a hand to Coach Rod for being a good sport and for the special teams unit. And we've got one more special segment before we end the show.
All right, we're back with the last little spontaneous segment. Now, how many of you guys were here last week? Raise your hand real quick. All right, a lot of you here were last week. We had a little bit of a controversial moment. Well, like 20-minute moment where I heard a yeah. Where Coach and his wife had a little conversation about a dog who got out. And do you want to tell us what you found this week popping up on the internet?
Okay, so actually it was last Friday. I had several people stop me and show me this meme of who let the dogs out. And it shows me first of who let the dogs out, and then it's me and Seth and my fingers going. So, and
if
apparently
you knew
it's
us,
gone viral.
Yeah, if you know us, that's kind of how we operate a little bit. If we're not,
That's
if
how
we're not,
he
if she's not
operates.
pointing her finger on me, I'm not feeling the heat or something like that. But I don't. She tells me on the porch at night, said, "Have you seen this?" I still haven't seen the meme yet.
Oh.
of
We'll make
that,
sure you
but
see it, Coach.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll show it to you right now.
All right, but the dog was something. So the dog is good to go, and everything is good at home. He's ready.
Were people worried about the U2 after the last
Yes.
coach's show?
That's pretty good, actually. Oh man, they took a bad picture of me right there.
It's a great picture of me, so I'm okay with it.
You're good with that?
Yeah, I'm good with it. I thought it was funny. I think he thought whoever stopped me, I have no clue who it was. And he said, hey, I have to show you something. And I said, okay. And I was like, oh, that's funny.
I think we know who the culprit was.
There's a lot of interesting people with graphics around this place.
Oh, there's some. You want to talk about Lovejoy? There's some. The Lovejoy bar. Don't go and look for it. That one's bad.
We don't want to talk about them. We already beat
don't go
them.
for that one.
Just for the record, we already beat Lovejoy, so we don't need to talk about them anymore. We beat Lovejoy, right? Like,
well, you're talking about Ann is the one that has met, like, I never even knew. She'll tell me stuff like this, memes and stuff like this, but there's things like this, like, hey, the purple hair ladies. And this was like 2 years ago, so she gets her hair cut at the same place, and I said, what are you talking about, the purple hair? I didn't even recognize these ladies without the purple hair until she comes. So she kind of, sometimes I'm not very obvious of what's going on, and then she kind of
Hey, can I give a shout out to the purple hair ladies? Because I put on Facebook probably on Monday, I was like, all these senior banners flew away. I was like, I don't know how I'm going to hang up. And they were one of the first people to say, hey, we will be there. And you got to love our Anna community, and that's why we were able to put that game together last Friday. Because of people like them who were like, hey, what can we do to help you guys?
That's what she did is like.
So shout out to you guys. Y'all are awesome.
You asked me what we did. I never talked to Pete Kane. I never talked to anybody. They all set it up.
Pete Kane got the fire department out there. He really did an awesome job. So
they just talked to them, and the community got together and put it together. So it was awesome. So I never did anything but try to get the pregame done.
And make us go viral with who let the dog out.
all right, so let's set the record straight. You guys are okay.
Yes, we are. Well, for today we are. Ask me again tomorrow. It might be a different story.
You're gonna get that pointing finger again.
She's taking over. She sees you at the church service, and she lets me know that she's keeping tallies right now during football season of who's going and who's not.
Me and Danica.
Yeah. So it's she's in our record and keeping the prayers for the Anna Coyotes. So that's good.
Well, you guys heard it here first. It's Coach's viral moment of who let the dogs out. We broke that, made that happen. They are good. You don't have to worry about them. They're all right. It's all fine. No marriage counseling needed here. This is how they roll.
Not yet.
Coach needs coaching, so just back off, everybody, all right?
Do you offer those services for free?
Oh, yeah, you do.
Do you marriage counseling?
Oh, well,
for
of course,
free?
absolutely.
Okay, just checking. Might need it after the season.
But all's good in Coyote
Ask
land.
me again in December after the state championship.
Yeah, let's get past state, and then maybe we'll do some counseling.
We appreciate everybody coming out. Thank you.
Guys, thanks for being out, everybody.